It gives me great pleasure to have been invited to speak with you today at this convention. And it's wonderful. And I think magic has happened as we've chatted over our meals and exchanged such a wonderful brotherhood together. And not only that, I think it's just wonderful to be amongst a room full of truth seekers. So if you've never been called a truth seeker before, I'm calling you that now. So I think that's very special. And looking at the title of our convention, I wondered about it, and so I bravely made the title Breaking Through the Illusion, and taking it from more of a Mahayana Buddhist point of view, which is a point of inquiry through the mind, to unveil the reality. And do we need a new paradigm of thought? And then, as I'm reminded by Gwen Miller, there's nothing new under the sun, as she would say to me, nothing new. So perhaps we just have to look at it a little different, because the truth is always here. And we hear, and I just, before we get into the little practices, I would like to share with you these few lines. You may not understand them. I don't think we meant to the first time. But it was Wei Ning, who was the fifth patriarch of the Buddhist order, was looking for his predecessor because he was getting old. And Wei Ning was from poor circumstances, couldn't read, couldn't write. And he ended up in the kitchen helping out there. And all these wonderful Buddhists were around getting, lessons. And then the fifth patriarch said, I want you to write a poem about the reality and so forth. So one of them put it up, and I'm not even going to share that with you. And Wei Ning came out, and he looked at it and he said, oh no. Could you come and write this up for me? So this is what he had him write. There is no Bodhi tree, nor stand of a mirror bright. Since all is void, where can the dust alight? Well, fifth patriarch came along and read that, and then said, oh my gosh, this guy's got it, but he talks too much. Go back into the kitchen. Well, they didn't really carry on the patriarch system, but he was the one that understood the reality. So in our efforts to try and break through, and we're dealing with the mind at this point, we know that if we hit our head up against a brick wall, it's going to hurt. There's no illusion there. And we've dealt with a lot of the physical planes and trying to clean up our rubbish and sort it out in different ways. But if we could but see the environment of our thoughts, I guess we'd be horrified. It'd be like a nightmare, ongoing nightmare, with all our attachments to these thoughts, our greed, and various other things. So I thought about it, and I thought, I'm often in a plane and 35,000 feet up, and I love it when I look out the window, and beneath me is like, I want to say it's cotton wool, but it's better than cotton wool. And there's nothing but cumulus clouds. You've probably all had that experience. And then you look up and nothing's going down there, and you see this beautiful blue sky and the sun shining through. But do you think it can penetrate the clouds? No way. And so why we have a thought process in place that is detrimental to us, the light can't come through, the inspiration, the creativity that comes from our right brain does not flow. So what can we do? And people say, "Oh, listen, I've got a full deck at home, and I don't hardly have time to read a book and stuff like that." So I'm going to suggest some things that we can just do. We can breathe, and we breathe every day, no matter what we're doing. So here comes a little something for you. Okay, so I'm just going to give examples of what you could take upon yourself. And these are all to awaken the mind and open the heart. Now, if anybody knows me, I'm not short of a word or two in conversation. And when I was in San Francisco, I heard about as Shushma, I'm sorry. She corrected me, M-A-U-N-A. That's a Sanskrit word which means no, a vow of silence, no talking. So it was mentioned about the 7-day silence, no talking. Oh, I said, well, I think I should try that. And they said, oh, you're never going to last 24 hours. I said, well, we'll see about that. So I'm asking you, you can take one of this situation and use it for yourself. This is only one of what I'm going to give you. And so I was working at Brooks Brothers Men's Store, as poor as a church mouse in San Francisco, and I was a Girl Friday. I had to, relieve everybody on the floors, and the wrappers, the people sold the things came up, and we had to put them in boxes and give it to them. And I prepared the staff and said I would be courteous because after all they're paying me to do this job, and I will say thank you and smile. But I will not be talking to anybody that's here. You have to understand that. 7 days I'm going into silence. So believe it or not, I managed it. Now it's a very interesting exercise. And as the days go by, things change. And what I found well, I shouldn't tell you what I found because you should find it for yourself. But you listen to people's conversations because you're there, you don't isolate yourself, and you suddenly sort of see the formation of their sentences, their content of their sentence, maybe their intention that's in there. And some of it's gobbledygoo. And you think, gosh, really? Is this how we talk to each other? And so it was, then you go to another level and you feel like you are the observer. You become the observer of the game that we play with our minds here. So then it came the 7th day, and they said, okay, Barb, you can talk to us now. And I said, I don't want to. I like where I am. It's very peaceful here. So this exercise does do a number on you and can help you. Now, going on from there, this is the beauty. This is another 7 days. And this one is recommended that you do not tell anybody you're doing it, okay? It's suggested that you take 2 days to think about it, because it ain't easy. And then you try and do it. And someone who tried said, God, I didn't even last the 24 hours. And so I put it down, it was mentioned to me as the 4 C's. So these were the words that accompanied the 4 C's. Now, you have to live your day and be watchful of what's coming out of your mouth and out of your mind. No comparisons in your conversation. No condemnation. Whether you're putting yourself down, I'm not good enough, oh, I couldn't do that. or, I don't like what they're doing, you know, that's stupid. If all that type of thing, or blaming, that is your condemnation. Here comes the other C, no criticism. Oh my God, that's hard to do. Somebody said, well, you're criticizing now, and I said, no, I'm just making a statement. And the last one, of course, it's a kind of funny word, covet. You must not covet. Now, what is covet? It's just to make another C, you know. Greed. No greed. So I challenge you to think about it and possibly try it, because once, if you can do that, and if you fail abysmally, then it's strongly suggested that you don't try and pick it up the next day and do it. You wait a couple of days or a week before you start the process again. But it will change the pathways of your mind and your brain and your thinking. And it will have the capacity to put you into that inspirational and connect you more, likely to connect you with the flow of the vibration of the universe and inspiration that can come from it. So I challenge you all to think about that one. Okay, now it's a bit nasty, but you know, it would make a change. And what else do I have down here for you? Oh yes, well, there's another one. We all have to walk places. You can take a short break and change your mind and just do the walking meditation. Now, once I was watching TV, and up comes this Tibetan Buddhist monk, and they had him interviewed, and they said, how do you do the walking meditation? And my ears were flapping, and I looked, and he says, well, you walk, and every step is a blessing, and it's placed. It's the most beautiful sacrifice and beauty as you go. You are in the moment, and you do that step. So I now was in Nepal, and we were starting a trek. Needless to say, I've never trekked in my life, and I thought to myself, oh my God, I must be out of my mind. The first trek I ever do, it's in the Himalayas. And I thought, what do I know about trekking? But I'll watch those porters and I'll do exactly what they do. And they have a system. They zigzag, they take the least height of where they're going. They don't take the big steps up on the rocks and that. They go to the side. Most of them are on the edge. Oh, that's what I'll do. But in the meantime, the first part of the walk was to get us to this very beautiful accommodation, which we weren't part of. So we were going to congregate there. So I took off and I thought, I'm going to do that meditation walk. I'm in Nepal. So I took the steps and I went down. I thought, this is a great place. I mean, you know, Buddhist and all that. And I started taking the steps like that. And the next minute, oh my gosh, it was a loud voice. Allah, Allah, Allah. I thought, what the hell is Allah doing here? I expected Buddha. What is Allah doing? But it was amazing. And I thought, well, you know, everything's in the universe. I mean, it's all there. And then as it went, there was an unbelievable amount of energy that came flowing through. And I went I was going fast. I was the closest to levitating off the ground. It was amazing and just mindful, and kept it going like that. Now, I challenge you for that suggestion. See what you're going to get up to. See, you have to be in that moment and that beauty there as you take your step. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to get Buddha through your, God or Jesus or what. It's your experience, whatever. So, you know, you can do that. That doesn't take time. You're in the moment there. The other thing, the Zen people, this is that neat one. I said it once and, oh my gosh. A person came back to me and said, I can never brush my teeth again without thinking about what you said. I said, oh, that's great, that's great. And it was the Zen approach. So we brush our teeth several times a day. Okay, try it. It's a good one. Get your toothbrush. You're in the moment. There's nothing else going on. There's nothing else going on in your mind. You are doing a Zen in the moment. Now, as you do these things, and if you apply them, you will then be transversed. You will be making inroads up beyond those clouds. It's funny that we all are in New Zealand, the land of the long white cloud. So we've still got a lot of mess to get through to the clear stuff, you know. But we're in the right place. So that is another thing. So it's all about trying not to analyze, but just be. I used to get letters when I went away from John Gwen, and I was very privileged. I was very happy. I thought of them, my dear friends. This is the book that was written after he died. Great song, The Life and Teachings of Joe Miller. And if you read that and read that and read that, he's got every jolly thing that he ever inquired into, and he did. He fell awake. And anyhow, where was I? I was talking about him. Yes, we were talking about the letters that came from. And down the bottom, you know, he usually say love in your name or whatever. In big letters, try doing it every day. You, a big B, another big U. And what is that? You be you. And that's always what they said to me at the bottom of the letters. You be you. So another reminder, because we have a uniqueness about us. Even though we're all one, we are unique sparks of the oneness. Therefore, we have a unique contribution in our own right. So we should be able to just live that and honor it. Now, here's... wait a minute. Oh, and he would go on to say this. Be still. Be very still. Just be. Truth can't be bought or sold. You've got to do it for you. No one else can do it for you. You are, and all you have to do is be. Take a gentle indrawn breath into the heart and feel the unselfish love flowing out. That's after a lifetime of searching, you know. We want everything to be complicated half the time. It's not worth its soul. And like Shakespeare said, you know, the mind is the slayer of the real. How true, you know, when we think of this. So we don't want to be goody-goods. We want to be fun people and be able to laugh and enjoy each other. But we do want to clean up our act with our way we speak to each other, our intentions. And it's like a knee-jerk reaction. We've got to get rid of those clouds. We've got to open ourselves up. Now I suppose you won't mind, but you know, I have a sister who's 5 years older than me. And I came back after a long time away. And my eldest sister passed away. And so she's now, and I said, well, what is happening here? You know, what is happening? She's acting like a big sister over me. And I've been away for so long, I thought, oh, this is very, very strange, you know. And then somehow, in her own mind, she would get very upset with me when I was driving or doing something else because I didn't know my way around. And it wouldn't take much. It would just take a knee-jerk reaction and she'd start shouting at me, you know. And And it was violently shouting. And I thought, no, she's in pain. It's her that is in the problem. I don't have to take it on. And I would just go along and not say, don't speak to me like that. I wouldn't say that. And it happened frequently in encounters, and I would just let it go. So that was another lesson, wasn't it? To not attach yourself and try to say, don't you dare speak to me like that again, after all. You know, we want to do that. Well, we really don't have to. And I felt a peace by, it's her problem. And I feel for her, because there's pain inside of that. And I was kind of a free bird after that. I didn't worry that I was driving along, you know, and she was yelling at me, and all was good. So you don't have to take on these things with people. You don't have to prove yourself. And when you let go of that type of reaction, life is pretty good, you know. I mean, you can feel real happy, but most of the time, if not all the time. Now, this is one, I've got two things. What's the time? Oh, we're doing fine. This is called the River Meditation of Milarepa. It's from the Tibetan Yoga and Secret Doctrine, page 150. Now, before I start reading this, I will say Carol exhibited this in her talk. When she got the message and she didn't question it, she didn't try and analyze it. She just went along, you know, and things kept flowing because she was in her stream. So this river meditation says here, when the mind is left in the primordial, that's where we want to be, in the primordial condition, a primordial, unmodified condition, knowledge dawneth. That's when we get those inspirations coming through. When this condition is maintained, comparable in its calmness to the flow of a river, knowledge in its completeness is attained, wholly abandon all directing and shaping of thoughts, ever maintain quiescence of mind, O yogin. And that's, I think, our challenge. That's one of our big challenges, isn't it? And I've given you some tools, so I hope that's all going to be okay. Now, I hope there's a lot of you here that joined in with the lady with the Sufi dancing. Now, I don't know about you, but I think you all probably felt what I felt. That woman had the softest, gentlest sort of love, and then she sang, and she did that, and it came through. She was like coming straight through. That sunshine had moved the clouds away for her, and that was following it, coming straight through for her. And I turned to her because I happened to have met, you know, she mentioned Sam Lewis. I happened to have met him, know a bit about him. So he goes, I went, Ya Fatah, to her, because it's a thing the Sufis do, and it's from my heart to your heart, and we do it 3 times. Could you wake up, stand up, and we'll do it too? Let's do it. Shall we do it? 3 Ya Fatahs. So we put our hands where our heart is, and we go, Ya Fatah, Ya Fatah, Ya Fatah. Beautiful. Thank you. Now you sit down. Well, there is another one that can do that really bothers me, and I want to share it with you. Unfortunately, I have it framed, and it's by an unknown Buddhist. about Namaste. Now, it's become very popular, this Namaste, especially with the yoga people, and part of me has a hard time with it because I feel like it's becoming a cheap hello. Okay? And when you have read what he wrote, what the real meaning of Namaste is, you might feel the same. It might be difficult for you. Because when you put your hands together like this, you're across the heart. When you look at the person you're going to do it, you must look at it and you put your hands like this. Would you do that? Okay, now I'm going to look at you and I am going to do this. You do it with me. And we meet our eyes. And in that moment, the whole special movement is, there is no you or me, there is just the one. We have met the oneness of ourselves within each other. And in Nepal, I had the privilege of being at three actually, but the destitute and dying with Mother Teresa's place. And as we went down these corridors with the little beds and things, there was this woman there, and she put her hands up, she looked at us, she smiled like this, and we came along, and I went like that to her. I had a happening right there. So from the highest point of what the Namaste was to relate, I have just shared with you. So I hope you will perhaps feel the need to honor that when you do it. If you can do it with somebody like that, it's a wonderful, wonderful happening. So we've gone over a few things. And I would like to finish with the first ray invocation, Annie Besant, with, I will say, first of all, it has been, we've changed it a little bit. It starts off with May the Holy Ones, and the part that's been changed is whose disciples we aspire to be. Well, the thought was that if you are doing this invocation, it sounded like you were groveling to be aspiring and a disciple. And so if you wanted to do the invocation, then you already know that you want to take this on. So that was left out of this one. Okay. So I will say it to you, you can close your eyes, think of the words. And we are asking, we know that we have the White Brotherhood with us, the Masters, Kuthumi and Moria. And we, as humble little people down here, we can get help from above. And actually this invocation is one that you can say, asking that. So here it is. May the Holy Ones show us the light we seek and give us the strong aid of their compassion and their wisdom. There is a peace that passeth all understanding. It abides in the hearts of those who live in the eternal. There is a power that maketh all things new, and it lives and moves in those who know the self as one. May that peace brood over us and that power uplift us until we stand where the one initiator is invoked, until we see that star shine forth. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Peace. Peace, peace. I love you all.